As I mentioned, the method is primarily a measurement-based method, and the first soil carbon method was released in 2014, which is 10 years ago now, and since then it's been revised in 2018 and 2021. It does, so as I mentioned, it is a measurement-based model, but it does have provision for some measure model approaches as well. And that's important as we talk more about the SOC model and how that fits in. An important part of the design is to promote practice change that creates increase in SOC over time. It is for agricultural land, and the land must remain in active ag production. So there's some key points. There are a number of eligible activities that can be implemented, and they must be new activities or materially different for that area. So that's to ensure that it is practices and things that are being introduced rather than what was going to happen anyway. And so SOC is measured directly through field collected samples. And from there, I want to talk about how the projects are broken down and how they're operated. And again, this is as we look to how a model can help us. It's important to understand some of these key pieces. So a carbon project is divided into what's known as carbon estimation areas, or CEAs. And that's the level where the SOC or carbon stock is calculated for each of those areas to give the total carbon stock for the project. And to measure SOC at these levels, at the CEA, it's broken into 3 strata, or a minimum of 3 strata. And from there, samples are taken in each of those strata. And again, there's a minimum of 3 samples in that strata area. The interesting piece here is that the sample locations are randomized within that strata. And that's really to avoid the possibility of focusing on a known sample location and not carrying out those activities across the whole area. Those samples are collected and they're measured in a NADA-approved lab, and SOC percentage is measured through a loss of ignition type testing. And then all these samples are used to estimate the soil carbon per strata. And a confidence deduction is applied according to the variance of results of these samples. So if samples are close in value, then there's a high confidence that they accurately represent the SOC amount for that overall stratum. The strata SOC levels are combined, then take into account the sample variance to calculate the mean SOC level for the CEA. So when a project begins, we do a baselining sampling round, and the change in SOC is then found after another sampling round, and it's the difference between those two measurements gives you the change in SOC. And ACCUs can be awarded on change of SOC after a number of other discounts that consider permanency and the possibility of reversal are applied. As I mentioned before, the subsequent sampling rounds can be conducted as early as 1 year and as long as 5 years after the previous sampling round. Now, under the method, SOC must be measured to a minimum depth of 30 centimetres, but at AgriProve, we actually elect to sample and quantify to a metre and a metre plus where we can. And really that's because we're interested in change over time of carbon at depth and also the longer term permanency of that soil organic carbon. And projects are 25 years in length, and each application for credit requires a comprehensive independent audit, and there's also some project details and results are reported out.